Okay, what I thought we'd do, instead of me going around knocking on doors and annoying people when they're enjoying their bank holiday Monday, the last thing they want to do is have me talking politics on their door. I don't really do politics anyway, unlike some. So I thought we'd have a look round the parish and see what's going on. People can get an idea of what, Unitary Council is all about. So the Unitary came about just over a year ago and was the fusion of district councils and the county council to make the Buckinghamshire Unitary Council. So South Bucks District Council is gone. History. No more. And now we've got the Buckinghamshire Unitary and we have Parish Council as well. And Parish Council in my mind will become the extended arm of the Unitary Council and become increasingly important to communicating to and from residents. So let's just have a little look around our parish. This is Wellesley Avenue where I live. These pinch points are a nightmare. They're forever being smashed up. The lighting keeps failing, and of course when the lighting fails people drive into them and they become a hazard rather than a safety measure. There's one back there and there's another one down this side as well, and we really need to come to a better solution as to how we're going to fix these pinch points, because it's all very good having the ambition of slowing vehicles down, but if you're going to slow vehicles down and create damage at the same time, that's not really achieving the objective. Look at the state of this one, it's smashed to pieces and of no use at all. In fact, it's just a liability. So that's North Park. We've also got issues with drains, which haven't been, the gullies haven't been cleared, the drains haven't been cleared, so we get flooding at various points on North Park. And as we go along here past Richards Park Golf Club, it's all very nice, it's all very pleasant, but we get 1,600, numbers I've heard anyway, 1,600 HGVs on this road every day, every working day. Now that's a phenomenal amount of traffic for any road. A friend of mine who likes to do maths worked out that we get more tonnage per square metre of tarmac here than we usually get on the M25 Western section. Now the M25 Western section is known to be the busiest motorway in Western Europe. So that gives you an idea of just how busy these roads get to be. Is that Heathrow want to link their airport, ultimately want to link their airport to the Great Western Line and create the Western Rail access to Heathrow, which would be a tunnel, basically goes under the ground here from this railway line all the way down to Heathrow Terminal 5, if they haven't built Terminal 6 by then. Of course the airline industry, like a lot of industries, have been on their back because of the pandemic and not seeing anything like the normal amount of traffic. So those plans have been put back to at least 2024, but in 2024 or before, I can quite see that those plans are going to come to life again, and they're going to want to close this whole road, and you just won't be able to get through. You might be able to get through as a pedestrian, you might be able to get through as with a push bike, but you will not be able to drive through. So that's a major north-south route for us in the Ivors will be gone completely. We'll turn left and we're going to have a look at Wood Lane, which is one of the roads that we're about to start repairing. Way overdue. The road itself has got itself into a dreadful state. But all of our roads are pretty much in a shabby condition because of the amount of HGV traffic that we get in this area. And it really is as simple as that. We need wider roads and we need better surfaced roads. We don't need them just patched up. Patched up doesn't last. Temporary repairs, absolute waste of time and money, other than the fact that they save a few tyres. But then the council is not very good at paying out on claims either. So, they have a claims process. Well, you can't really argue the fact that the road is in disrepair, and yet you're very, very lucky to get your claim paid out. And we'll go up Pinewood Road, and we'll look at this land on the left. This is where Pinewood own pretty much all of this now, on the left-hand side here, apart from a couple of dwellings. This is where they want to make their visitor attraction. Now, I'm a fan of Pinewood. I've been to Pinewood Cinema many, many times, watched movies, and I like going there. It's good, and it's nice to have something like Pinewood on your backyard. In your backyard, people say, "Where do you live?" And you go, "Oh, I live in Ivor." And they go, "I've never heard of it." I said, "Well, you heard of Pinewood?" "Yeah." "Okay, well, it's there." "Oh, right, I know where you are. Just west of London." "Yeah, fine." And that's all well and good. And I'm supportive of the studios business and the excellence, the centre of excellence that they've created there for the British film industry and everything else. But we don't need a visitor attraction. We don't need James Bond world like Harry Potter world. I don't think it'd be nearly as well attended as something like Harry Potter, but it still threatens to put 1 million cars a year onto the roads around here. We just don't have the capacity for that. We don't have the capacity to support the traffic we have right now, let alone to support another 1 million cars a year. We have another issue here. A lot of the parked cars that you can see here are nothing to do with the residents. And it's a constant source of annoyance for these folk because their roads are being clogged up with people just going to Black Park. And yeah, so Pinewood, they get, like I said earlier, big fan of Pinewood, love going to the cinema there, saw the last James Bond film there, looking forward to seeing the next one if ever they release it. But we can't just keep on allowing just because they're Pinewood, and building onto Greenbelt, which they're allowed to do, of course nobody else is, does seem a little bit unfair to me, and especially when we're not quite sure what the outcome of that build is going to be. So time to think on about how much licence we give to Pinewood perhaps. This is one of the busiest roads. We have, according to one of the parish councillors I was talking to recently, we have something like 10,000 vehicles a day on this road, and it's not a big road, but it's certainly a busy one. But yeah, this road's been the scene of many an accident over the years, unfortunately, and predominantly it's about people doing U-turns. So I think a lot of people get their fuel at the petrol station back up behind us, and then they come down here, and where it very clearly says no U-turns, they decide that it would be a really good idea to do, guess what, a U-turn. And it clearly says it back there on that big sign, it clearly says it on this sign here, no U-turns, and then we see, well, not right now, but we see vehicles that decide they don't want to go to Black Park, they just want to do a U-turn. So that's not where you do it, folks, and that's why we have the problem, because doing a U-turn into 60-mile-an-hour traffic is just going to be a recipe for disaster. So we come down to the notorious Black Horse roundabout, which is just in trouble for the last 5-10 years, I don't know. There's a lot going on under the ground there, and it doesn't lend itself to being repaired very easily. In fact, it's been shoddily repaired many times, and we're hoping soon that it's going to be properly repaired. This is of course the road that's adjacent to where they want to put the motorway service area. So the motorway service area will, if it goes through, be over on our left. There's some work going on there, I don't know what's going on. Someone's stripped out some of the trees there. So that'll be over to the left, and there'll be an access road on our left. It'll be for emergency use only and for suppliers, but the actual access for the general public will only be from the M25. So we won't get a lot more traffic in the villages except for during the construction phase. There's the environment centre on the left, and that will be impacted by the motorway service area as well. Having spoken to those people who work really hard to run a brilliant environment centre, their entranceway will be slightly compromised, and so that's not a good thing, and we need to fight their corner. Now is that we still get HGVs on it, even though it's a 7.5 tonne weight limited road, and it's signposted at each end to that effect. But I think our TVP resources are stretched so thinly that they don't have the time to come and sit and monitor one road. And because an HGV vehicle is allowed access to properties on a weight limited road, the police have to wait and see if the lorry's going to go from one end to the other before they can be pulled over. Now we come back down into the centre of the village, Ivor Village, where we've got issues with regards to parking. That's one issue at the moment. We have consultations have been done with regards to where we can and can't park, or should and shouldn't park. And you know, a lot of cars park half on the pavement, half on the road, which is okay and allowed as long as you don't block the pavement. So if you can't get a buggy or a wheelchair past the car on the pavement and you have to go out into the road, that's a no-no. But I think banning parking completely is also a no-no, because it will kill the shops, and that's not something that's going to be conducive to anyone's success. And in fact, we'll just see the shops move somewhere else. So these are some of the, right here are some of the areas of concern. They want to do something about that. So we need to be involved in whatever it is that Bucks decide would be the best thing to do with that situation. And then we've got obviously the 3 industrial areas on this road. So we've got the Ridgeway, which is the kind of the more formalised business park of the 3. Been there a long, long time. Some of it's now changed over to housing. We've got 2 large buildings that were corporate offices that are now flats and apartments. We've got our canal here, where we have issues sometimes with people shooting at wildlife, which is extraordinary, but there you go. And then down here we've got the other 2 areas, which on the left, Court Lane, and on the right, Thorny Business Park. And they have a great deal of HGVs, scrap vehicles, and all those sorts of industries go on down here. And keep an eye on that. That land on the right was recently considered for release from Greenbelt for development, and that was going to allow the construction of 1,000 dwellings. But when the local plan was redacted, or retracted, I should say, by the Unitary Council, then that plan went out the window. So there we are, and we're back onto Bathurst, where we've been seeing some houses disappear and become flats, as you can see on the right hand side. And we have parking issues around here. The controlled parking zone is due to take effect, I think it's either this month or early June. Either way, the yellow lines will be enforced, and there'll be areas where you just can't park without getting a ticket, and that's mainly aimed at the commuters that just park anywhere.